Aaron, there was so much excitement last season about getting that top seed in the NFC, the home field. You've been saying for years how important it was getting an NFC Championship game at your home stadium. How does this feel differently, having done it for a second year in a row? Does it feel different this year?
First of all, if everybody could mute, that would help. I don't know how different. I mean, every team is different. I think last year, we didn't get that good Green Bay weather. Tonight was one of those nights. We haven't had a game like this in a while, temperature-wise, but it's just different. It is different. The whole feel of it, I feel like, teams can break a little bit easier when it is this cold because there's an excuse, the weather. And we're out there, we're cold as well. But when you're rolling on offense, you kind of get that extra little jolt because the defense is on their heels a little bit, and also they're probably a little bit more cold than you are. So we're happy with the 1 seed. A lot of us were checking out the game before the Cardinal Cowboy game before we went out to pregame warm-up. So saw Kyler run around the edge and ice it, and knew we just had to get a win, and we'd be the 1 seed.
Matt Schneidman.
Aaron, I don't know if these are two different answers here, but do you want to play next week, and do you think you need to play next week?
I don't think I need to play. Just like I don't think I need to practice all the time, but I do enjoy practicing. And this is the first game that my toe got through the game without any issues. No pregame painkiller shot. So I'm feeling good. I mean, I'm happy about it. There was definitely a time a few weeks ago when I started to project out and think if we can get the 1 seed, that could be, 2+ weeks of rest. But I'm going to play next week, and I expect Devontae to play and our guys to play. So we're looking forward to finish off the season on a high note and then getting the bye.
Bill Huber.
Aaron, you guys won 13 games in 19. Maybe you guys are just growing at that point. Last year, you guys are dominant. Where's this team better / different than those previous teams as far as making a run here?
Yeah, every year is definitely different. I think we have really good balance in the backfield. Both backs going over 1,000, I heard, and yardage on the season is pretty amazing. Those guys have both had really nice seasons for us. The lines had a lot of turmoil with injuries, but I think they've settled in. They played great tonight. I mean, no sacks, and we ran the ball really, really well and threw it all over the place. So the line was definitely is coming together, and Dennis has played really well, and Royce has gotten better as the season went on, and Lucas has settled in and been really a rock for us in the middle, and Johnny's been great at left guard, and Yash, the robot, has been really solid watching my backside. So those guys have played really well. This team, I think, has dealt with more adversity than the previous two. We were really dominant, I felt like, at times on defense in 19 and offensively kind of finding our way throughout the season. Last year, we, obviously played a lot better on offense. This year, it's been the same recipe. We've taken care of the football really well. I think we've had 10 turnovers in 16 games, which is outstanding. And we found the balance in our defense. We've been opportunistic. We've had, I believe, 26 takeaways on the season. And, special teams has been improving, thankfully, the last few weeks, which is a good sign. Mason was awesome today making his kicks. And I met David on the sidelines. He had a nice return for us, which got us, the 20+ yards and a 15-yarder on the end. So that was good. So we got to play complementary football all the way around. But I like the vibe of this team. We've had a lot of key players not play for us. And I really feel like there's a possibility to get a few of those guys back for this stretch run. And that's exciting. We'll see in this week and where those guys are at, but it'd be fun to get those guys back. Obviously Randall's going to be back. Whether or not he plays this week, it's kind of up to him and the medical staff. But, you think about Z and Jair and David and Josh, that could make things really interesting for us on both sides of the ball.
Rob Domofsky. Rob, are you there?
You got me?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Thanks. Going back to that first week in New Orleans, you said, hey, it's just one game. We've got 16 more. You only ended up needing 15 more to get the 1 seed. At what point, though, did you feel like you guys had really sort of gotten going, in the course of this season?
Well, week 2, we bounced back for sure and played well. Now, we play against a team that's only had 2 wins on the season, so that could be, as much of an anomaly as the first week possibly. But I felt like midseason we started really hitting our stride and finding ways to defeat cover 2. What Devontae's done is changed the whole complex of our offense and the way teams play us. I think Matt's done a nice job and the staff of adding complexity to our formations and also finding those concepts that work against too high, because we've seen a lot of it. And at times we weren't able to run the ball effectively. We've done a good job of throwing it against those looks. So really appreciate the work of the staff. And I really feel like mid-season, we started getting going. Obviously I've played significantly better in the last, 5 or 6 than I did early in the season. And I think a lot of that's due to just an increased focus on the specific concepts that we like week to week. And Matt's been doing a great job of dialing them up. And I've kind of been, been in a little bit of a zone, the last few weeks.
Wes Hodkowitz.
Aaron, I think NFL Next Gen had a stat about that touchdown you had to Allen being among the tightest windows you've had all season. One, what did you see on that play? And just in general, how have you seen him come on here, over the past month?
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like since maybe the Rams game, he's played a number of really good games, made contested catches and big plays down the field. He does all the dirty work. So to get him the ball is awesome, because he's a very unselfish guy. He can go in there, stick his head in there and block on the edge as well for some of our run solution stuff. But he's been, making plays down the field, which is great. There was actually an adjustment that Matt suggested as he called the play in, and I kind of asked him in the huddle, and he gave me the affirmative that he wanted to run a double move. Barr walked to the edge, and I wasn't sure if he was going to blitz or not. But we had him picked up, and AJ did a nice job of picking him up on the play. I pumped left to give Devontae and the double move a chance and move the safety slightly, and knew I had one-on-one coverage in the backside and was about to get pocket was kind of collapsing. So I just kind of threw up a opportunity ball for Allen, and that's to his credit. And really going back to maybe the play against Chicago on the 3rd and long, where he went up against a couple guys and made a catch. He's been making those contested catches. And the more you do that, the more opportunities you get. It's a la James Jones back in the day when James was a young player and you started seeing him making these contested catches, give you that confidence to go back to him over and over when it's one of those 50-50 balls. And then when he's been coming down with a lot more of those than not.
Steve McGargy.
Just wondering, in general, at home field doesn't seem to matter as much in the NFL as it has in the past when you look at the home records, yet y'all are undefeated at home this regular season. What is it about y'all this year, or maybe this building, that's enabled y'all to play as well at home as you have this year?
Well, the crowd, compared to last year, having a crowd definitely makes a difference. And, last year in the playoffs, we obviously had pared down crowds because of protocols. So it's nice to have a full crowd. It's nice to have a Green Bay weather game finally, with the temperature at 10 to start, and I'm sure it crept down a little bit lower than that. It felt like it was definitely single digits, and wind chill probably hovering a little lower than that. So yeah, it's a different ball game when it's cold at home, and we've handled the cold pretty well over the years. So that's what we're hoping for in the playoffs.
Pete Doherty.
And going back to back to the toe, do you think you'll practice much this week? And then assuming you play on next Sunday, do you think the wild card weekend off gives you enough time where you might be, I don't know, do you have a chance to be completely healed even?
I think so, Pete. I think, we were trying to get to that 6 to 8 week window. without any major setbacks. We had a couple along the way, but this was another good week for me, and felt good. Thought about practicing Thursday, but just wasn't quite 100% there mentally. Practiced Friday without any issues, no inhibitions, and felt really good. Like I said, no pregame shot. Got through the game without getting stepped on or any issues, which was great. So I feel like there's a legitimate chance I could practice 2 days this week. Definitely practice Friday for sure, and maybe be able to get out on Thursday as well, which would be great. Get back into that, which is generally the padded practice of the week. So, and then, without any issues in Detroit, I feel like we're getting really close. I mean, we haven't done an X-ray in about a week, but there's definitely significant healing, and we're getting close to being 100%, which I expect to be definitely with the bye week.
Mike Clemens.
There's like 6 different passes I want to ask you about tonight. So I'm going to let you pick one. I mean, between the sidearm throw to Devontae or the one where you hit Devontae in the sideline while Harrison is dropping back, into coverage with his disguise, was there one other pass you had tonight that you thought you checked off a box and you brought along somebody or you brought in a new play you can take into the postseason?
Well, the fun thing I was just telling Tay as he walked out of this interview, but when I was looking at the first few plays of the game that Matt sends over my way before game day, I was looking at them this morning and this afternoon before the game. I thought that I wanted to kind of set the tone with Tay early on and throw him the ball on the second play of the game, regardless of the coverage. So they usually don't do that. Learn from Tom Clements. We always had 3 mortal sins. The quarterback, don't throw late down the middle, don't make any blind throws, and no premeditated decisions. And so with all apologies to Tom and his excellent training over the years, I kind of had a premeditated decision to throw it to Devontae on that play. Now, they came out in a too high shell, but the corner played low to his side, and we've hit similar balls in the past, but that was fun to kind of get him going, because as wide as a safety is, he doesn't expect an outside release for a ball to kind of be thrown in that direction. So kind of using that mentally against the coverage scheme, and then we came back to it in the 2-minute drill as well, which was a lot of fun. So those 2 throws are probably my 2 favorite of the night.
Tom Silverstein.
Aaron, I assume you wouldn't mention those guys who are hurt and might come back without some inside knowledge that there is a chance they would come back. But, you remember in 2017, you missed a whole bunch of time and then you had to come back with 1 game. So what's the expectation level for guys like that? And is it as much maybe psychological as it is physical, or is it really about getting them on the field and productive?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm understanding your question right, the psychological for the player is so very important, and it's difficult. The 2 times I've come back to the field after 7 or 8 week layoffs is difficult because you've just missed so much time, the flow of the game, the feel. And so it takes a bit to kind of get back out there. That's why if it was possible for those guys to come back this week, I think that would be great to kind of get with the 1 seed already locked up, to put some time in the game of playing, where the ultimate performance is always important, but it's not make or break for us in week 18. I'm not sure. I mean, I would assume, based on the cautious nature of this league in general, that that might not be pushed for, but I do feel like, seeing Jair back at practice, there's a good possibility that he could come back at some point. Z, I mean, I think there's a possibility. I do. That'd be exciting for sure. And then Dave, Dave's been progressing, doing some stuff on the side. It seems like that'd be great. Josh as well. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn that there's a possibility for all 4 of those guys. Randall for sure is coming back, and he looks great. I mean, he probably would have fought if this game was a playoff game to be out there on the field. So it's exciting knowing that there's, a good deal of guys who are close to coming back and may come back and could really help us.
And sorry, from the psychological part, I meant for the team, just to have them on. I didn't describe that very well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part for sure, just because those guys have so much clout based on their ability and what they've accomplished. So I think, I felt that when I came back that, for that week 17 game against Chicago in 13, I just felt like I gave us a little extra jolt. Like when they knew I was on the field, my guys expected us to win. Same thing in Carolina. Now, I didn't play very well in Carolina, but I think there was an expectation like, okay, 12's back. This means something, like we're going to win. So I think there is that psychological boost when you see, 69 or 55 out there, 23, see those guys return. It definitely means something. And I think those guys can take some comfort in that, as I did when I came back, that you're giving your teammates confidence by putting that jersey on and being back on the field.
All right, we'll just do two more. MK Burgess.
Hey, Aaron, what was your reaction when you found out that you now have the most touchdowns against the Vikings as a quarterback in NFL history? And what does that mean to you?
Means I've played a lot of games against them. I've always enjoyed the rivalries in the North, and they're all different. The Bears is a deep-seated border. Feels like, there's border with all of them, I guess, even, Wisconsin to Michigan. But that one feels like such a border battle with Chicago and, the history of that rivalry. I feel like, and I've said this before, there's more like animosity between Packer fans and Vikings fans for whatever reason. So you definitely feel that in the tension in the rivalry. And so to have that stat, it's cool. I played a lot of games against them, a lot of tough ones, and played at, I think, 3 different venues now with the old Metrodome and University of Minnesota and then the US Bank. So I've enjoyed that rivalry for years. They, always have great football teams and have great players over the years. My first start as a pro was against Minnesota at home. So that'll always be special to me. And 2 of the biggest games, I guess 4, playing against Favre. I think about the 2009 Monday Night Football and how electric that was. The only thing that rivaled that was the Super Bowl, I think, a couple of years later. So been some fun ones over the years.